All right, everyone. Hopefully it works this time. I've been having problems with Facebook all day. Don't know why. Hasn't been letting me see comments as I'm doing these videos today, so don't know what's going on there. Also, waiting for Danny to send me my questions. If someone could comment on the comment I just left, just so I can see it. This is weird. I have to look on my phone to see who's watching and who's not for this because I'm using my computer and it's not showing me everyone here. So, don't know what's going on with that. Also, waiting for Danny to send me the questions since I don't have them yet. I don't know how he's going to send it to me. I hope he didn't forget about me here. So I will look online real fast to see if he sent them to me yet or not, but I don't think he did. Nope, not yet. All right, guys. Well, we'll get started once Danny sends me my questions. I don't know where they're at. So we'll go as soon as I get those. I'm texting Danny right now so I can get my questions. So for everyone that just joining, the reason I have my phone is so I can see who's watching and I can see the comments since my computer's not letting me see it. I don't know why, but it's not allowing me to. And currently still just waiting on Danny to send me my question so I can answer them. Just got a message said shoot sorry, so he forgot about me. So that's fun. That's fun. Gloria, I'm not singing. Have Liv tell us something. Sue, the way I started at Raw was actually because of Steve. Steve, for you that don't know, was my JV football coach in high school my sophomore year. So I was on the first team he was a head coach of. And then I went into exercise physiology for my major, and I needed an internship. And Steve got me one at Raw. So apparently Danny liked me enough to bring me back And that's how I'm here now. So, great first question there. No, not awkward at all, Rochelle. Not awkward at all. So that was the answer to the first question. So Steve is the reason I'm at Raw. He got me the job, the internship, everything that started me out. So you can either thank him or you can yell at him for bringing me there. Danny finally just sent me the questions. I think there's a little bit of a pause here, so a little bit of a delay between this and my actual video. So let me get all these questions that Danny's sending me. Looks like there's going to be a lot of them. Wow, you guys sent me 5 pages worth of questions. This is going to be a long one. All right. First question. It's your 80th birthday. What do you hope people say about you when you are toasting you with some very expensive champagne? Um, so first off, I hope it's not champagne. I hope it's beer. No, I'm not much of a champagne fan, more of a beer guy. So I hope they're toasting me with beer instead of champagne. 80th birthday. I kind of hope they were just saying that I'm fun, that I live my life to the fullest. I did it how I wanted to do it. I didn't really do anything anyone else wanted me to do. So that's kind of what I'm hoping they're saying, that I was my own person instead of trying to be someone else I'm not. Next question. What is your biggest pet peeve? Um, so probably some of you might know this. My biggest pet peeve is actually when people show up late. I know I mess with a lot of you guys for showing up late at Raw to the workouts. Um, that is just messing with you. I don't actually get mad at you guys. I'd rather have you show up late than not at all, like Danny says. But I do. It does get on my nerve when people show up late to certain things. I know you guys got a lot going on to get to the workouts outside of Raw. So that doesn't really bother me as much, but say when people used to show up late to classes, other stuff, when I make plans with a friend and then I show up somewhere and they don't show up for another half an hour, that kind of gets on my nerves. So it's that. My next question, what is your workout routine since you can't handle the workouts at Raw? These are all on the auto side. I could probably guess a couple people who might say this. Um, my workout routines are more strength based. So I'm not really trying to necessarily lose weight. I'm not really trying to build cardio. I just like getting stronger. It's something I enjoy doing. So my workouts kind of go through cycles. Sometimes I focus on more of the power strength aspect of it. Sometimes I'd focus on building muscles, so hypertrophy a little bit. I usually segment my workouts into 4 days. I'll usually do upper body on Monday with a focus on chest and part of the back with triceps and biceps in there. Tuesdays, I'll usually focus on the back of the legs. So I'll do deadlifts, some type of bridge or hip thruster, something like that, and a few other kind of accessory things for either the glutes or my hamstrings. Wednesdays, I like to focus on shoulders. Shoulders is actually my second favorite thing to lift. So I'll usually do a couple different overhead press variations. I'll do some lateral raises, some front raises, some rear delt raises, and then hitting more triceps and biceps in there. And then Thursday, I'll usually squat. So I'll focus on my quads and some other stuff like that. Uh, and then I usually take 3 days off. So I take Friday, Saturday, Sunday to kind of recover. I try to make my workouts more neurologically challenging instead of necessarily like cardiovascular challenging. Um, so I'll feel really tired after my workouts, not necessarily like gassed, but I'll be just fatigued overall. And you'll hear me talk about my weight sometimes if you're in my tribe training. By 5 o'clock, I like to talk to you guys about my lifts. So they kind of know what I do already, but I that's kind of how I do it. I like to segment my workouts and I like to focus on just a few different body parts instead of a whole body workout. All right, next one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? That's a great question. Uh, the only thing I can really add to that is 5 years from now, I see myself being married. That's about it. I don't really think too far ahead in the future. I'm more of a at the moment type of person. I don't like to necessarily plan ahead super far. Um, so that's about all I can say is 5 years. I see myself married. Other than that, like job wise, house wise, I don't really know. I don't really see anything yet. Maybe 10 years down the road, I might see myself owning my own gym. But that's just always kind of been a goal of mine. So it's not really like in the 5 year plan. I don't really have one of those. I'm, like I said, more just by kind of in the moment type of person. All right, our next question. Pretty long one. All right, you said Steve was the reason you came to Raw. How do you know each other? Were you mesmerized by his beautiful blue eyes? Do you want to be like him someday? That's a funny one. As I already answered, I know him from him coaching me in football. Um, as far as the beautiful eyes go, I've never looked into him, so I can't answer that. And as far as being like him, I guess part of it, he's a pretty cool guy. He's a good guy. Um, but that's about it. I wouldn't necessarily say I want to be like him working all those jobs. That's something only Steve can do. That's not me. I'm not going to be working that much. What did you go to college for? So I went to college for exercise physiology. So I always planned on being um, in this field. It actually started out as I wanted to be a college strength coach. Then I decided that I liked doing other stuff more than just working with sports teams. Um, as some of you might know, I've talked to you about it before, but college strength coaches work unbearable hours for very little pay. Usually, the only ones you hear about are like the D1 guys that might make a few 100,000 or even like in the millions. That's pretty rare. You're usually starting out working like not 80 hours plus a week for not a lot of pay. Uh, but then I switched over to being a private trainer, and that's kind of what I want to do for the rest of my life, somewhere outside of this, maybe even in this. I want to work with high school athletes a lot more, as some of you may know. But I did go into exercise physiology. What do you do outside of Raw? Um, Great question. It usually depends on time of year. In the summer, I like to go fishing a lot. This past summer, I went and saw my girlfriend a lot. As you guys know, she lives out of state right now. She's still in school. So went and visited her a lot outside of Raw. Usually in the fall, spring, I do a lot of hunting, a lot of fishing. I watch a lot of football too. Other than that, I don't do much. I'm a homebody. I'll go out and hang out with my friends sometimes, but I'm not a big partier. I don't go out to like bars and stuff on Saturdays a lot. I don't really do that stuff anymore now that I'm not in school and I can't walk down the street to it. So yeah, usually I do something outdoorsy, watch a lot of sports. Pretty much it. That's what I do outside of work. Other than that, like I said, I stay home. What's my greatest fear? That's a great one. I would actually say my greatest fear isn't like an object or like heights or anything. My greatest fear is probably just not living up to what I know I can be. So like my potential. I set very high expectations for myself. Um, I get discouraged when I don't reach them. So my biggest fear is probably not reaching those expectations I have for myself. I don't tell anyone those, so you guys aren't going to hear that today. I'm not going to go that deep into it. But I have high expectations for myself and for what I want to do in life. And probably my biggest fear is not reaching those things that I set for myself. Like I said, I don't really tell anyone that, so I'm not going to be going into that with you. But that is my greatest fear. Um, Next question. How did you get started at Raw? Already answered that one. So that was with Steve coaching me in high school and all that. Um, do you consider yourself a risk taker? That's a great question. Again, it depends. The risk for me have to be kind of more calculated. I know that's kind of an easy way out. Um, but it's a versus reward thing with me. If I don't think the reward is big enough to warrant the risk, I won't do it. If I think the reward is great and it's going to be something that can really benefit me or help me out, then I might take that risk more than what I would if I don't think I'm going to get a lot out of it. Um, so it's calculated risk. So I'm not a huge risk taker. I usually play it pretty safe on most things. Um, that's just how I am on that. Under what circumstances would you cut your hair? There's not too many circumstances that I would actually cut my hair. Um, yeah, there's a few really extreme ones I can think of. I don't want to get into those because they're kind of gloom. So there's not too many that I would actually cut my hair for. My girlfriend loves it. I like it. I think it's easier to take care of than when I had short hair. Um, I have an awkward shaped head, so I can't do the buzz cut. So something else you guys get to know about me. Little bit of a weird shaped head, so buzz cuts no go for this guy. All right. So next question. What three things bring you the most joy? Um, so first one that brings me joy is probably my girlfriend. Um, she probably brings me the most joy out of anything just because we're kind of long distance right now. So we're spending a lot of time apart, especially with this whole thing going on. I haven't seen her in 3 weeks or so. Um, so she's probably number one on that list. Number two on that list, probably dogs. I love dogs. I like seeing animals that are happy, especially animals that are in like bad situations, foster dogs. I like seeing them find homes, stuff like that. Um, Seeing a foster dog get a find a forever home always brings me joy. And number three, probably being out in nature. I love being out in nature. I find it very relaxing. I find it as a great stress reliever. I get to get away from people. There's no like rushing. There's no in and outs of everyday life. You're just out in God's creation. Just you and your thoughts, and then you're just there. So those three things bring me the most joy. Girlfriend, dogs especially, and then being out in nature. Next question is congrats on your recent graduation. What'd you get your degree in? I know I already touched that. I got my degree in exercise physiology. I got a bachelor's. I'm not going back for grad school. School is not necessarily something I enjoy, as some of you may know. So I'm just sticking with my bachelor's in exercise physiology. Being so young, do you find it weird or uncomfortable training older men and women? I do not. I actually have a harder time training people my own age. Um, my parents have told me, my friends' parents have told me I'm very mature for my age. I've actually um, been told that it's kind of funny because we'll go to like parties or something and I'll end up sitting there uh, talking to my friends' parents almost as much as I end up talking with my friends. So I don't find it weird training you guys. I get along with all of you. You guys don't make it weird. Um, I find it harder to train people my own age. People my own age that I've trained recently, I've found they have a harder time listening. I know the way I act around you guys, you might find that hard to believe, but it is true. Um, so yeah, I don't find it awkward training you guys at all. I actually find it enjoyable. You guys are an awesome group, so thanks for that. Next question: is your girlfriend the one? I'm gonna come right out and say it. Yes, she is. Her and I fit together really well. She enjoys a lot of the things I enjoy. I enjoy the things that she enjoys. We get along really well, and yeah, she's the one. I've told some of you this already. Um, a lot of you have been pushing me on when I'm going to ask. Uh, that's for me to know, and you guys will find out after I do it. I'm not telling you guys beforehand because that would just ruin the surprise. So you guys are gonna have to wait and find that out. All right. Let's see. Next question. What kind of car do you drive? I drive a 2013 F-150. Um, yeah, it's smoky gray. You can see it out in the back. It's got a few rust spots on it now. It's usually covered in mud from all the dirt roads I drive down. But yeah, 2013 F-150. Do you blow dry your hair, and if so, how long does it take? I do not blow dry my hair anymore. I used to. I found out that if I blow dry it, it becomes kind of frizzy. It doesn't look as good. So I usually let it air dry. Right now, it's takes probably wow, probably takes an hour for it to air dry sometimes now, depending on the weather outside. So yeah, no blow drying. I let it air dry. Takes about 45 minutes to an hour for it to do that. Um, Another one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 15 years? Um, Again, in 5 years, I see myself married. 15 years, no idea. I don't look that far ahead, so I'm sorry, I have nothing for you. I know that's an easy out for me, but I don't really look that far ahead. I just kind of go with the flow and see what opportunities get brought before me. Um, if you were a girl, which of the other Raw trainers would you want to date and why? Wow, that's a weird one. Whoever wrote that, thank you for this. Um, if I answer this, I'm probably gonna not be able to come back to work. This is like this is the weirdest question I've ever been asked. Who would I date and why? Um, I would like whoever wrote this to please message me after just so I can know who asked this, as I have a feeling it was someone like Steve or that, and they're just trying to embarrass me really bad right now. Um, Heck, I'll go with Steve. I know him better, and you guys all seem to like him, so I'll just take that as the easy answer. Um, Yeah, that's about it. According to you guys, he has beautiful blue eyes, so that's got to be the number one reason right there. Who would you really like to meet? Um, hmm, that's another interesting question. Who would I like to meet? It's an awkward one for me. Sorry for the awkward pause. It would be some historical figure. It's no one in the modern day that I would really like to meet. Um, I would go someone like George Washington. I'm super into history. I like, especially war history. That's always interested me from when I was young, the history of the country and stuff like that. So either him or even someone, yeah, probably George Washington, just because one of the founders of the country, first president. I would just like to talk to him, kind of pick his brain on stuff, on like his leadership roles and stuff like that, what he thinks about it. So he'd probably be the one person I would love to meet, even though that's physically impossible, but that's my answer. Um, how often? This question's kind of worded weird. It says, "How often lead week do you work out?" I'm gonna take that as how often do I work out in a week? Um, 4 times a week, like actual lifting, and then I play basketball on Sundays. Well, I did play basketball before all this happened on Sundays with Danny and them. So 5 times a week. Um, that's usually about the amount of days I work out. If you count basketball as working out, so 5 days a week, four lifting, and then one with the basketball. Would you ever consider working out with, one second, with all of us for a whole class when this is over? How about a one-on-one exercise face to face off with Steve? I would work out with you guys. I actually have worked out with classes before. It's kind of rare. I did a couple last year when I was interning on some of my off days for football. I actually did do a few classes. Um, Danny's talked about having the trainers do classes. I wouldn't mind that. Um, as far as doing a one-on-one face-off exercise with Steve, um, I'll do one better. I would love to do that, but instead of like one exercise, we do a circuit of exercises. Um, as you guys saw from the burpee thing, Steve has the advantage on me in burpees. I'm not good at them. I'm a big guy. I'm taller than Steve. Um, so doing a face off with Steve, I would do it. Let's make a whole challenge out of it. We'll have you guys pick 5 exercises, kind of go in different strengths of each coach, and then we'll do it there. So when this is all over, I will put it out there. 5 exercises. Me and Steve will do them against each other, face to face, and we'll live stream the whole thing so you guys can watch it. I hope that's what you're looking for. So, yep, I'll start doing like a class a week, maybe with you guys, and then Steve and I will do a exercise face off. You consider in the woods? You have mentioned in your relaxing time, but what are you actually doing? Um, in the woods, I do what I consider in the woods. Um, anywhere where there's not like a subdivision, a bunch of houses around. Um, so one of the places I go is a family-owned farm, not my family, out in Riley Township by the Bell River Golf Course. If any of you know where that's at. Um, so that's where I go. I do a lot of hunting out there. I do small game, large game, or big game hunting, all that stuff. But I also enjoy hiking a lot. I've done a backpack camping trip before. Now that I have more time, I want to start getting into that. So basically, all that is just going somewhere very remote where you can't drive up to it. You have to actually hike out with everything that you're going to need for a couple days on your back. Um, I did one of those with my group of friends in on South Manitou Island. That's a island in Lake Michigan, right between Michigan and Wisconsin. So out in the woods, I like camping, not camping with like a camper or anything like that. I prefer to bare minimum. I like to sleep under the stars, either on a hammock or I'll sleep right on the ground on a tarp. Um, or I do a lot of hunting. Um, and one day I would like to go out west and camp and hike in the Rocky Mountains. So sometimes those are the main things I do in the woods. Every once in a while, I'll go out and I'll just kind of walk around, or I'll sit there by myself, kind of think about stuff. Uh, so yeah, going in the woods basically to me is just spending time out in nature. Again, I do a lot of hunting, hiking, camping, stuff like that out there. Everything else though, um, pretty much it. I'd like to be kind of isolated where there's some people around, but I'm not crowded. So, which kind of sucks because I live in a subdivision right now. So, yeah, one day my goal is to move out and live in a smaller house cabin with a bunch of acres of land around me. Next question is three famous people, living or dead, you would like to meet. So like I already said, the one person I would like to meet is George Washington. Um, Probably the second person I would like to meet is Davy Crockett. Um, he's a big outdoorsman, and he's did a lot of leadership stuff. He was a senator, a congressman. I think he was a representative for Tennessee. Um, so you guys kind of, some of you may know his story. I would like to meet him as number two. Um, Number three, it's a real interesting one. Um, it's gonna be another historical figure. I'd probably go with actually like William Wallace. I know that sounds a little bit weird and kind of random, um, but a big part of my heritage is actually Scottish. So I'd like to meet him just because, as you may know, he's big on the whole with that whole Scottish Revolution and stuff like that. So he's someone I would like to meet just from back in that time to kind of see how everything was. I know, kind of random, but George Washington, um, Davy Crockett, and William Wallace are probably the three people I'd like to meet, just because of their historical value, and just because they were great leaders. Um, so I could kind of pick their brain. How did I meet Danny Mullen slash Raw? Again, that was through Steve. I met Danny. Uh, I was doing an internship, so I went to meet him. I think I met him after one of your guys' workouts, back when we still only had the smaller part of the gym. And yeah, I met him, started the internship the next summer. So yeah, again, you have Steve to thank for that. That's how I met Danny. All right, we're getting here to like the last questions. So what is this? Last four questions. Um, Describe what your best day ever was slash would be. Oh, that is a great question. I think my best day ever. Um, it's not necessarily weird. Might sound weird coming from me for you those that know me pretty well. I think the best day ever right now still looks for me when I have. Um, so probably my best day ever is picturing me right now, probably holding my first child. I know that kind of sounds weird coming from me, but that is my answer for that so far. And I got distracted by some of the comments that just popped up. Okay, next question. Why do you torture Steve so much when he is such a sweet boy? For some reason, I feel like this is Steve asking this one. Um, it's not necessarily the torture part. I just like messing with him, yelling at him. You guys know me. I like to mess with people. Steve and I just get along in that way where we're gonna mess with each other, yell at each other. Um, it's just kind of how we are. So I enjoy doing that. It's kind of how I get along with my friends and most people. If I'm picking on you, it means I like you. Um, so yeah, that's probably why I like to yell at them so much during the workouts like that. What is my guilty pleasure? Another great one. I don't really have any, so there's nothing that like I like, but then regret having afterwards. That's kind of how I'm taking that one. Um, yeah, I don't really know. Let me think about that. I'll answer the guilty pleasure one last, just unless this last question is just so good that I have to answer it last. What is your most favorite exercise that you like to do? What is your least favorite exercise? Um, Most favorite exercise? I love deadlifting. Deadlifting is my all-time favorite. The reason I say that is it's the only exercise you can't cheat. If you have bad form on a deadlift, you're gonna hurt yourself. Um, you can cheat it if you want to go by like professional technical terms. Um, but the basis of a deadlift is just take a super heavy weight and pick it off the ground. So that is my favorite one out of all the exercises. Least favorite exercise is actually mountain climbers. I'll do burpees over a mountain climber any day. The reason I say that, um, I don't have the greatest shoulders in the world when it comes to stabilizing. So trying to hold myself up for a long period of time while doing mountain climbers, um, it does actually start to bother my shoulders. I know I do complain about it a lot. I just don't do well with them trying to hold myself up with it. Um, all right, so back to the guilty pleasure. Yeah, I'm really struggling with this one. I guess it could be something. It's not really sweet because I never feel anything. Don't really feel anything bad about it. I guess it used to be. I'll go with my college pleasure. It used to be tequila. I know some of you guys like tequila, but tequila is something I enjoy drinking, but always regret drinking it afterwards. Every time Every time I drink tequila, I would always regret it the next day. So, guilty pleasure is definitely tequila. I do enjoy drinking it, but I don't agree with uh, the consequences of it the next day. I'm gonna scroll through see if there's any comments in here. Remember, tomorrow is Paul, so make sure you leave him questions. Uh, Try to embarrass him like you embarrass me, please. That'd be nice. I think Steve is Thursday and David's Friday. Um, let's see. There. Beth, I am saying we should do a raw camping trip. That would be enjoyable. I would actually enjoy that one. Um, you guys keep trying to get me to set up parties. I'm not going to set up any parties. That's not my thing. But I would set up a camping trip. That would be a fun. All right, guys. So unless you have any more questions for me, you want to leave in the comments. That's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy the other coaches when they go on. Um, oh, we got one more question before I stop. All right. So, Beth, last question I'll answer for you. What's been the weirdest part of not being in college anymore? Um, the weirdest part of not being in college anymore is not living on my own currently. You guys do know I live at home right now, trying to save money, pay off student loans faster, stuff like that. So not being completely on my own or with just other people my own age, that's probably the weirdest part. Just having my parents back around and stuff like that. That's definitely number one weirdest part of not being in college. All right, so that's the last question I'm going to answer. Um, Thanks for joining me, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy. Hope to see you guys all back at the gym soon. Have a good rest of your day. Uh, Go fill out those questions for Paul, Steve, and David later. All right, everyone. See you later.